Good afternoon and welcome to this session of The Balanced Trader. We are going to be doing a quick debrief of what's been going on since the last close in the ES. Pretty eventful, a lot of things have been going on, a lot to get through, and I also want to talk about a little bit about some of the mistakes I made yesterday and some mistakes I actually continue to be making. Just so you know that I do make mistakes. Like everybody, we're all human and we will make mistakes. It's just how do we get to put those things right. So first of all, we had a really busy overnight. But before I talk about that, I'm going to talk about quickly what happened yesterday. It is a debrief after all. So yesterday we had an overnight session where we held between, we had an opening gap, opened up at 10 on Sunday, and then we continue to push up to the 55 level, which is this little area here, if you can see. Why is that level significant? Because it was left by this, multi-distribution day on Wednesday. It was the bottom or upper area of the lower distribution on Wednesday, which is, I've just done some little arches here to make it clearer for you. So I don't have the let me see if I can just get the profile for that day. Anyway, it's not important. So we opened up, we gapped up in the overnight session, and we drove up to 55, where we found like a pretty good steady high. There was just nobody willing to take it above there, and then we opened the US session roughly at the overnight VPOC, which was around the 30s, and then the overnight inventory that was overly long just liquidated down. Adjusting, we took price and tested the overnight low at 10, then found buyers, took prices higher. Eventually we did break that 55. We had some stops going through, and yeah, it was a really choppy session. And yesterday's prep debrief, I did say that if we break above the 55s, we're likely to have very choppy, difficult price action. And why are we going to have such difficult, choppy price action? Well, if you look at your chart, if you look at the chart that I'm showing you now, let me make it big. Why was I thinking that this was going to be difficult? Why was it going to be choppy? Well, main reason is that we've got this poor structure left over from the 18th. So I've got that highlighted there, so you can see that there now. So when we've got poor structure that's been left behind, and it's likely that we're going to try and repair it. The way it repairs it is that it's, we to and fro, higher, lower, higher, lower, higher, lower, and we just cover the poor structure, filling it in. Also, what we were, where we were and what we were doing, we were also entering the, some very busy, congested areas where a lot of business has been done before. Where you've found a lot of business done in the past, you tend to find choppy price action. The cleaner moves are where there, is a lot of free room for the market to run, where we haven't had a lot of localized price action. So the reason I thought that was because above 55, which is this area here, I'm drawing a virtual line. We were entering into this composite profile here on the right hand side of my chart. As you can see, I'm waving my cursor so you can see. So we're entering this little area here, and I expect a lot of chop, which is kind of what we got. We got a lot of to and froing. There are a lot of people willing to, take both sides of the trade, go short, go long. But there were a few things to sort of, wake you up to think that maybe if I was to take a trade, it was going to be on the long side. Now, I made a mistake yesterday, and I had an overly short bias. Given the overnight action, I really shouldn't have done. I don't know why. The reason why I know why is just that we've seen so many of these short covering rallies, which is what Friday was, and a pop higher in the overnight session that then immediately get tested and then revert back to trending down lower. We've seen that a lot. We saw that last week. multiple times. So it was just in my head that, that's a pattern that I'd seen, I'd recognized. And so I got it completely and utterly wrong. So I had a very good early morning session yesterday and gave all that money away because I normally trade the overnight session half size. But I gave all that money away and then some, getting chopped up in horrible price action that I really shouldn't have been taking part in, and I should have recognized it. And anyway, so that's just a quick debrief. What did we do yesterday? So basically, it was a continuation of the short covering rally from Friday. You saw that there was impetus from the open. We gapped up higher. We pushed up to this key level. We didn't break it. And it wasn't a very convincing push, but short covering rallies aren't convincing. It's not new money coming in, it's just a readjustment of existing inventory. So I'm just going to shut the window. Very cold. You can see my office now. Let me see if I can get that back. No, it's not working. Anyway, we're going to carry on. The show must go on. You can see my kids' drawings up on the wall in my office. Anyway, I'm going to turn that off, then it's not working. Okay, so where are we? So we had this short covering rally, which quite often is typified by a P distribution. So short covering rallies tend to be P distribution. Here's another one here. Look, another short covering rally here on the 12th of May, where we just pushed up higher and we create this P distribution. So it's just something that's very, very typical. They tend to be weaker and they tend to be reversed easily. If there's any kind of news, the selling will revert. So that's pretty much what happened last night. So yesterday we had this drive into the highs, into the close. What was really interesting about yesterday, and I'm just going to quickly explain a bit more about yesterday's session, and I found it very difficult, but this is another chart. Can I make it bigger for you guys? Is it bigger? Is that full screen? It's good enough. All right, so what is it that we saw? We saw basically the open, opened around about here. We chop all the way down, tested the overnight lows at 10, then bounced all the way up, but we only made it as high as, I think it was 48s or 50s, I think it was. Make it all the way up to 50s. But you saw some, it didn't quite make it. We had this 1 attempt, 2 attempts, 3 attempts, 4 attempts to break higher, and we just found a barrier there. Sellers then realizing this then took control. We marched all the way down. I mean, anyone who's getting long anyone who's long just got marched all the way back down. And then this is where I got in, I got convinced that, oh my goodness, this is just a test higher, and then we're just going to carry on short selling. As we broke through the overnight low, I was really very keen to looking for shorts. So I was looking on these pullbacks, getting short, getting chopped, killed, dropping ticks, which frustrated me. And then I also tried to take a couple of shorts in this area here, but you can see there was one attempt to push up to VWAP, pull back lower. I think I was involved somewhere in there, and then I got stopped out. It just got messy here, and as soon as you see this mess, you just want to step away, and I think I did. I left with my tail between my legs, feeling very sorry for myself that I'd given away all the money I made in the overnight session, because I had a couple of really good trades, and I should have been trading those bigger, but I wasn't, because I don't tend to trade the overnight session full size. Anyway, so you can see the price action is just so messy, really, really difficult to trade. You've got like these 1 minute 10 point reversals, rotations, really quick, really whippy. That's my Squawk financial juice that I won't try and talk over, because they normally come out with some really important stuff that might make the market move and I want to trade. But sorry, I won't talk over the Squawk, but they've stopped now. Anyway, so what was important, once we got going, once we broke the overnight high, it was still whippy. If you're looking for longs, I don't know. It was very difficult to get long in this area, and if you did get long, you would have got stopped out a couple of times. There was, once we broke the high, there was no guarantees that it was going to go high. It looked like it could fail back lower, but we found footing on the VWAP and in the middle of this little chop zone here that I'm waving at on my cursor. And then that was the first kind of clue, and I missed that. I wasn't even looking at VWAP. Yeah. If I think it's choppy, I won't look at VWAP. I won't click on, If I think we've got choppy two-way action, VWAP to me is irrelevant, because what I find is chop equals balance, and when we're in balance, we're going to go swinging through the VWAPs. So that's what I was thinking initially, because we'd seen this rotation lower, rotation higher, rotation lower, rotation higher. Well, each time you're just swinging through the VWAP. I'm not interested in it. But this was the number 5 here, was the first proper test of VWAP where we held, then we pushed higher, and then you see the price action getting tighter. Now here you might want to start thinking about trading. Again, it was not easy. It was a mess. I effing hated it. And I wasn't even watching. I stepped away. I turned my computers off. Anyway, and it carried on, but the key thing to take away from this was that there was another test at VWAP where my number 7 is and where number 8 is. We didn't quite get down to VWAP, but what we saw was that there was this competitive buying at VWAP, and it carried off into the close where we had where my number 9 is. Where we saw some price action, where we saw some interesting price action was basically into the close. We just saw this very grindy price action higher. Once the price action clears up a little bit, then you can start thinking about taking trades. But what you don't want to do is be taking trades when there's 10-point swings on a 1-minute rotation. It's just suicide. Do not. If you're trying to trade with a tight stop, if you're day trading, a 10-point stop in the ES is huge. That's 10% of the daily ATR. You can use a 10-tick stop. I don't. I use between 2 and 4 points. Yesterday I was getting stopped out for 4 multiple times. I don't like that price action. I actually like. At the moment, we've got a very high volatility regime, and what I do like, I actually prefer trading the overnight session. It's a little bit cleaner. The volatility is not there. Levels a bit respected a bit more, and we're still getting 30, 40, 50 point ranges, which I prefer. When it gets crazy volatile, unless it's very directional, unless there's news or a very clear direction, unless the price action is very clear, I'll try and stay away. So I didn't do that, by the way. So I'll try to stay away. I'll try to stay away, but I don't. And yesterday I didn't, and I left myself very frustrated and very upset. And I still have to reflect and go through my debrief, because I've done just a brief debrief about my behavior yesterday, but my behavior was not that I would expect or how I want to perform going forward. So I need to try and find a way to sort that out. Okay, the next thing I'm going to talk about is what's been going on overnight today. Is this the right one?
ECB's Holtzman says ending the year with a positive rate is extremely important. Strict ECB forward guidance no longer makes sense. Euro area inflation to be above 2% in 2023 and 24. A half-point hike in July would be appropriate.
Okay, I'm not going to run through the debrief, but I'm just going to show you quickly the main things that have gone on this morning are, we've had a big open gap from the into the Globex session where we opened significantly below the VPOC. We had these stops going off on the open last night. Attempt to bounce failed into the U session. We kind of held in the Asia session, although we had a slight drop off into Europe, and then this continuation. Now we've got this proper price action. We found a little base at 39.10 roughly, and then we've carried. We've failed to break that low, and we've carried up. Breaking through VWAP and testing the highs. My prep for the day. Let me just get it up. I'm going to just quickly find it. important things to note are basically some of the news that's gone on, which I've just highlighted here in my notes. So if you click the link below, you will find all my notes. We want to make sure that we are aware of any speakers coming into the session, and we also want to have a good idea of any new data that might be coming. I think we've got Fed's Powell talking today, and we've got Lagarde talking again later. She's already spoken. Please check the notes. Check out this website here, very good website. They give you lots of free cool stuff and lots of free news. I'm losing my track. One thing to note, I had very bad sleep last night, and I have made a note of that, and so therefore I may not be able to perform at my best, which has been something that I need to deal with. Okay, so where are my notes? Okay, so what am I expecting? I'm expecting giving the impetus lower this morning. We've got a poor low in the overnight session. Can you see that? Yeah, you can. So I'm expecting some kind of this little blue little rectangle here is going to work one of two ways. We're either going to reject it and push back higher. We'll find some buyers, or if we fail here, we're going to have all those, you know, all the positioning from overnight and yesterday's session liquidating lower. So my kind of line in the sand here is where, you know, bullish bearish is last Friday's high, which was an important area yesterday as well, around the 41 area. It's a high from Thursday, high from Friday, and we've also got today's high volume node in the TPO chart. On the TPO chart, we've got this overnight double distribution, and we are trading in the middle of this cave that I've highlighted here with the 2 points at 39.73, where I expect to see some strong resistance as we try to break and close that gap. The lows below 24, we're trading in this little cave, so I'm expecting two-way choppy price action. Below 24s, I'm expecting the pressure to build. If we could hold below there, we'll take a stab at taking these lows out and then try to get back down to the yearly lows. So my base case scenario for the day is a hold below 40.42, which is the overnight VWAP, this upper distribution on the TPO chart, and then a push and a break and a break down below this 24 area. We hold down here for a little bit, we chop, where I'll be looking for some shorts, a pullback maybe up to the 24s. I'm looking at structure, maybe even if it pushes up to 35s, I want to see it test, fail, a rejection up at those areas between 25 and 40, and then a pushback lower. That's my base case. I'm looking for this, to revert back to just trading downwards. Okay, that's pretty much what I want to say. I think I've babbled a little bit. I think that's my tiredness coming through. But I will be posting live, and so you're welcome to follow those notes. And this is going to be updated as well. My plan for the day isn't quite there yet because I'm still waiting for, we're a bit too far away from the open. I'll probably update it in the next, 45 minutes or so, something a bit more current, because at the moment we're just trading around the 30s area. So I'm just going to bring up my chart here. Yeah, we're just touching the value area high. We've bounced off it a couple of times. We've pulled back down to VWAP where we've found some support, and that looks like it's going to try and push back and test. Oh look, it's moved. So around 40.42, we've got the overnight. It was the overnight but it's moved just now as we've pushed higher. So again, already my notes have changed. So this is the problem with making plans before the open, is that these plans need to be updated in real time, which I will try to do for everybody. But it's impossible for me to be drawing and scriggling on my notes at the same time. So I'll probably just be typing away plans changed or something along those lines. So check out my Evernote. It's live. Check out yesterday's. Check out my debrief. There's a lot of personal notes in there from my trading as well. I need to revert and go back through those things. I will do that when I have a chance, because it all takes time and there's only so many hours in the day. But I need to review yesterday because I made lots of mistakes. I'll try not to make the same mistakes today. Yeah, at the moment, this is where we are. This is what we're doing. We've got we have had this sort of multi-distribution overnight session where we've got a small profile from the post session close into the close, and then we have this gap. We have another little up distribution here, and just below 30.32 we've got this the lower bit, which is starting to look a bit muddied now because we're pushing back and filling in these areas. So it's not quite what I put down on my prep or plan as we've pushed up higher. But yeah, anyway, I will get back to you just into the open, and thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you back again for the US Open. Very, very exciting.